Okay, let's talk about the story that gripped Twitter on the 4th of July. Rachel Nichols Gate. New York Times story came out, and I just caught up on this shit. So let me preface this, which I always think is important in these conversations. Say, we don't know any of these motherfucking people. I don't know any of the people. Like, I don't know who they are. I will say that I'm never surprised when I find out that a white person was talking out of both sides of their mouth about diversity. And that is something that I believe all three of us agree firmly on. But what did you guys think of this story? I'm going to not try and catch everyone up on a 2,000-word in-depth story by the New York Times. But I would say that I'll just foreground the conversation by saying all I know about it is what was in the story. And that's it, because I don't know these people and I don't know any of the other shit. But what was your reaction to this story, Tyler?
Yeah, so Cliff Notes version, Rachel Nichols was speaking with LeBron's publicist, I believe it was. I think it was LeBron's publicist about
Adam Mendelsohn.
Yeah, and about how, Maria Taylor was getting a push and how they wanted Maria Taylor to do, sideline NBA reporting, which was Rachel Nichols' gig. And then Rachel Nichols went on the whole, I understand that this conversation happened last summer. We all remember how last summer was, after the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor tragedies there. But basically Rachel Nichols implied that they were, pushing Maria Taylor because she was Black, and it threw us for a loop because Rachel Nichols has always seemed publicly to be on the side of diversity and inclusion, right? And it seems like so many people are on the side of diversity and inclusion until you have to give something up personally, until you have to make a way for someone, right? And for Rachel Nichols to imply that Maria Taylor, who was, a college basketball athlete, who got her start in journalism as a college athlete, who has worked her way up to the top, and you are Diane Sawyer's niece, right? And we're talking, right? And you got the nerve to act like people are pushing Maria Taylor on us because she didn't work her way to this. And you are fucking Diane Sawyer's niece. Like, what are we doing here, man?
Does anything else need to be said, nigga? Does anything else need to be said, Tyler? Bro, I think you just summed this shit up.
I have one other thing to say, which is I'll say this. I always start at the very top on any of this shit, because I will say, and I'm not saying this in defense of Rachel Nichols, I think she's probably absolutely right when she said it's a fucking they're making it woman on woman.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that is outside of the control of Maria Taylor or Rachel Nichols. That, hey, first of all, ESPN's basketball coverage fucking sucks. So if you have a Maria Taylor and a Rachel Nichols, why are you making the two of them feel like they're competing for the woman spot? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that I think Rachel Nichols referenced that I think is probably very true. And that's a shitty thing about corporate media.
Was some fuck shit.
What she said was some mega fuck shit. Okay, and I'm not saying in defense of Rachel Nichols. I'm saying she's commenting on a situation that it actually doesn't need to be that someone needs to make a way for diversity. They could just hire the best people. Maria Taylor, with all due respect to Rachel Nichols, is the best person that they have for that fucking job. So that's the end all be all of why she should have it. But like, you're making women feel like we have one spot for a woman for who? For whose opinion that we needed to hear on ESPN on their garbage ass fucking basketball coverage, bro.
Who, Perk? That's who he squoze in there. Yeah. I just think it's interesting that it was said last year. Like, she probably just dropped the fucking black box. You know what I mean? Like 2 minutes ago, and then leans and she was, I think, in the bubble when she said the shit. It was at its peak. White people were whiting less at that moment. And she's on the phone, we're waiting. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Like, no, man. Like what you said, Mike, and you had to say that shit. Never surprised you're talking about both ends of the mouth. But like you said, Rachel, I was low-key surprised. I was surprised. You know what I mean? But
you're surprised just because I think Tyler said she's appeared to publicly, she's more than appeared to. That's been sort of her brand, is like, I'm pro diversity and pro new voices. And she had people who she's helped get on the jump or whatever, sticking up for her in that regard, saying, hey, she helped get me on this show or whatever. But that's why you're saying you were surprised because she's
that's why
she's presented herself that way.
Yeah. I mean, with certain people, I'm not, like, I don't care how you present yourself. Like, but with her, I definitely was, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, but I think Tyler summed the shit up perfectly. You feel me? Right.
As Tyler tends to do.
Yeah. Mike is like, dog, you the biggest Tyler fan, dog. Like,
I appreciate y'all, man.
That's my guy.
1 and 2, you know what I mean? We right. As Tyler said.
Anyway, ESPN, fuck you, Rachel Nichols, give me a fucking break. Like, but it is interesting. Here's the other thing we'll say. The only person who's faced any consequences for this is Kayla Johnson,
a black woman,
who is a black female producer at ESPN, who admitted to sharing the clip with Maria Taylor and was suspended. And that's the only person who's had any kind of punishment whatsoever. And I would add, by the way, Rachel Nichols recorded herself saying this shit and uploaded it to the ESPN server accidentally, which is not a good time to be arguing that the younger talent shouldn't be getting a bigger opportunity when you're struggling to use the new tech.
How do you feel about how do you feel?
Race aside, Maria Taylor went to school to know how to do the shit that young people have to do with technology now.
How do y'all feel about what Mendelsohn said?
Just going back to, springboarding off what Mike said about how you never really know with white people in these issues. Like, of course, with any type of Braun, linked to any story, there's going to be a crowd blaming Braun for this. And we saw people, Braun needs to vet his people better, bro. We, as black people, we know that white people, there's no telling. When white people get away from us, a lot of them take off the mask here. And I'm never going to blame a black person because a white person took down their facade in private. Absolutely not. Never.
I mean, how does Braun in any way control what anybody says, black, white, green, whatever the fuck, outside? You know what I mean? Like, at any moment, you know what I mean? But yeah, like you said, like, even in, like, I went and played a country club for golf, you know what I mean? I knew I was in enemy territory, you feel me? So, like, not just behind your back, I'm worried, like, am I gonna have to say some shit? Like, you know what I mean? So, like, even in front, like, we have to, like, it's uncomfortable at times, you know what I mean? But behind his back, like, I don't know what Braun is supposed to do. Maybe not fuck with him no more after this shit.
He got to give him the boot after this.
He got to boot that motherfucker. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Between Black Lives Matter and Me Too, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted, bitch. What about the motherfucker with the Black Lives or the woman, the actual woman, like, that is dealing with the fuck shit? I'm exhausted.
He said, I'm so tired of considering women and black people to be people,
right?
Like, simultaneously. Right. Like, in one summer.
I was tired of caring about people. Like,
right. Empathy. Empathy sucks. You know what I mean? Like, dog, like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, he got to give him the Budaruski after that for sure. You feel me?
He's got to go.
Yeah.
Motherfucker's got to go.
You guys
was wild to me.
You guys are two of the only people I've seen publicly express what basically every black person I know expresses privately, which is the table stakes are that white people are all racist to some extent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to some level, like, there's no surprise when that happens. So, like, I don't think Braun thought Adam Mendelsohn had the perspective of a black person in America. And it doesn't invalidate the work that he did with voter registration drives in his school and everything, because it's like, if you're going to ask black people to find perfect white people to help them advance black causes, good fucking luck, bro. I mean, like who's he gonna hire? Like, how do you vet that? You should, like, it's exactly what Tyler said, like, which there we go again. But it's like, yeah, you almost assume, right? You both almost assume that, like, Braun's publicist Adam Mendelsohn would be different on a call with Rachel Nichols than he would be with Maverick Carter.
No doubt. So,
but that was
just hope they don't prove you right. That's right. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you approach these situations. Like, please don't prove me right. It happens more than you like it to happen.
Yeah.
it's remarkable that the black squares on Instagram didn't solve anything. My mom said something to me last summer that I thought was perfect. She said, well, if all these people really feel this way, I guess we'll actually get some shit changed. Right?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to post it on Instagram, post the black square on Instagram than it is to say, than it is for Rachel Nichols to go to ESPN and say, it's in my contract that I'm on this show. Put her on the fucking show too.
Right.
If we're the two best people and you want us both to be on, then put both of us on the fucking show. Like, she could have taken that stand instead of the stand that was just about her career.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like, they didn't even listen to Maria when they asked her, hey, you know, I would prefer not to work with a person who doesn't think I'm qualified to have this fucking job, even though I worked fucking hard. And they still try to squeeze her ass in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't even respected her wishes when she's the fucking, you know, victim in this situation. You know what I mean? Like, dog, it's the way they're dealing with it is absolute fucking bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the producer, what was her name? Kayla
Johnson.
Kayla Johnson. You know what I mean? She ended up leaving because they were giving her like less than desirable jobs after that. You know what I mean? They're trying to get her out of there.
She got the freeze out.
Right. I mean, it's like, bro, I love how I did it. Yeah, I did it. You know what I mean? Motherfucker, come on, man. But like, the whole situation is fucked up.
This is the issue with corporate media and corporate structure in general. And I know Tyler, I thought had some really great points about HR and the purpose of HR, but there's basically two ways you can live. You can live like Kayla Johnson by your own actual moral, ethical code, and then not bother to lie or cover shit. Say, hell yeah. So someone says some fuck shit about her and uploaded it to our server that I'm on. Right. Hell yeah, I told her someone said this shit about you and I showed it to you. Or you could build your brand around diversity and go out there and talk out of both sides of your mouth. And this situation is a great example of which one serves your career better. You could be Rachel Nichols, or you could be a producer who was the only person to get punished and who then got frozen out and quit. Like, that's the way that this corporate structure, not just in media, but I feel like in any large corporation, that's the way it's incentivized. Like, it's incentivized for you to bullshit.
What did she do wrong, though? For her to get suspended, information that is available to Rachel Nichols or Maria Taylor, you know what I mean? Like, that information is...
She was on the producer's server, so she took something off the server to show it to Maria Taylor.
I know, but
I think Maria... I don't know
access to that, though, right?
I don't think Maria Taylor had access to it. But I don't...
There's a technicality shit that can always get you on. They probably fried her for giving access to Maria Taylor for something that she shouldn't have had access to, which is bullshit. But yeah, that's how they do. And like I said in my tweets, don't ever think HR is on your side in any type of these situations. Like there was a tweet saying, this is why I don't go to HR. No, I implore you, go to HR with any and everything, because you want that timeline established. You want that paper trail established. Email them about everything. If you have in-person meetings, make sure you get a follow-up email, that you send out to them detailing what will happen in those in-person meetings. Get that paper trail going, get that timeline going. Make sure you CC your personal email in all of these emails too. BCC yourself if you feel the need to do that. But always go to HR with anything, even though the HR is futile and you know that they're on the company side and they're not really going to take any significant action on the employee's part in most of these situations. But go to HR with any and everything. Don't let this deter you because HR didn't take action here. HR rarely takes action. But like I said, just get that timeline and paper trail going in case you got to take their ass to court one day.
Your point was basically HR is not on your side, but that's the agency. That's the part of your corporation you work for that will not delete the emails about what was happening.
Exactly. Correctamundo.
Hey, this whole system is fucking dumb. Like, listen, like going to the people you think are supposed to help you, you know they're not going to fucking help you, but you need them to create a timeline.
Yeah. You need the documentation of them not helping you.
Like that is the most roundabout way to getting assistance that you could possibly fucking create on the fucking planet.